other classics. So
appropriate margin to have the XJ9 and the Sauber Mercedes, who battled at Le Mans. The amazing Peugeot 905, really effectively the final evocation of Group C.
In many ways, it really was a Formula One car with bodywork on top.
It was.
Close as it got. You see these cars on the front; they look huge in comparison to the Jaguars, but they were pretty nimble things. You look at their shape; so much more svelte than the Porsche 962 just behind them. Number 10, the Kenwood Kramer car, and that was just the passage that went forward. But to see these cars now, to see the two Edgar Aston Martins, it's fabulous. And then we have the Gepard, the red and yellow Gepard, hardly seen on the tracking period, the G901, but going so well in the hands of Michael Lyons these days.
I thought period Goodwood grids were 4-3.
Yeah,
this isn't going to work, is it?
These are white boys.
And the Tony Southgate designed Toyota, the first Group C car, effectively with a bubble cockpit for the driver rather than the rather wider one on the Jaguars. Some MK Aston Martins with that big Aston Martin V8 engine.
And perhaps the nuttiest car of all, just a little bit further back, there are a couple of them, the Nissan R90 CKs. So powerful. 1100 horsepower for qualifying.
If the Mazda's there, you'll hear it. The Mazda 787B with the
it's a
triple rotor engine.
It's a static, I think.
It's a static.
Just to save people's eardrums.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to see Jimmy Downing's quad rotor cars in the States, the kudzus and things. Oof, extraordinary.
They could split a block of marble at 100 paces.
And did.
And then the Lancia LC2, for many people, perhaps their favourite Group C car, just so pretty and always made look even better by that Martini livery.
My partner was sending them off.
Unlike last year, where we had course cars front and back, this year the demos are unrestrained. They can overtake on the straight.
Is that a Hancock in there? Looks like a Hancock crash helmet in that the second Jaguar. There we let off one by one. Kenwood Porsche 962. We've got young Michael Lyons in the Gepard, a brilliant winner at Zandvoort last August. The Lancia LC2. There isn't a car that the Martini stripes don't suit. There's the Mercedes Sauber.
That makes a fantastic noise, doesn't it?
Puts on the Landudis himself. Toyota goes away. Peugeot from the Mahe group. Brother Bill sticks his foot up in excitement at that. There's the MK Aston Martin, newly restored. Andrew Hibbert driving the MK today. He's restored it for Rudolf Ernst, the Hamburger who owns it. That's the Dow Corning car, which actually led Le Mans very briefly. Seems to recall onto the pit stop sort of brakes. Hawaiian Tropic MK is the red one. And there's the works Aston Martin.
Last away the Aston Martin.
Max Bockstrom involved in designing that with an interesting sort of wasp waist look to it.
Quite difficult on a day like this to get heat into the tyres, and on cold tyres these are very difficult cars to keep in a straight line.
Absolute beasts.
Well, we saw a couple of people going for little rotations yesterday, notably going out of the chicane, because of course they need to put the power down, but cold track, cold tyres, and it shows how hard they were trying. But to me, the Nissan R90 CK just like cars that are coiled springs ready to just unleash their ridiculous amount of horsepower. They certainly won't be using 1100 horsepower here at Goodwood today.
They're certainly not hanging around down the pit straight, Bruce.
I should hope not.
There's a young lad in the pits there having a memorable day out watching Le Mans cars at Goodwood.
Are we all? C11 Merc past the pits, making very V8 noise.
It really bellows, doesn't it? I'm very grateful to my old friend Kent Abrahamson, whose Chevron BMW I used to race occasionally, because he let me out in his Nissan at Donington a few years ago for a session, which was absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
And we rode. My brother and I both had passenger rides with Julian Bailey in the car in period. And Brother Bill, who's standing with us in the box here, had the interesting experience without a seatbelt, right with his arm round Julian Bailey's shoulder, going down through the Craner curves, having a blowout, which sent them off the circuit, up over the grass. They rejoined the circuit under the bridge at Starkey's at the bottom.
That's why his hair's gone grey.
That's why I didn't drive for years, I think.
So, first two cars round the two. Well, you see the effect of coming out of the chicane, little touch of throttle and big twitch from the Silk-Cut Jaguar.
The Momo Gephardt is a really good-looking piece of kit.
It's also incredibly well made. When you get the bodywork off it, you really appreciate the level that these cars ascended to. The early Group C cars were fairly rudimentary, but by the time they got to the early 90s, they were very, very developed cars.
That's right. It wasn't overused in period, this car, was it?
No, I think we can say that.
What capacity was the Peugeot, the V12 and the Peugeot, is it?
3.5, wasn't it?
I think they were in the 3.5 litre era by then, weren't they? The
V10.
And
really
anyhow,
high
in that
capital
final
stuff.
year, it only needed probably half of its power. It was so dominant.
Yeah.
But the Pink Spice has just gone through, Richard Bateman, the car that Desiree Wilson and Vincent James and remind me who the third of the ladies was in that car, Bruce, ran at Le Mans.
Yes, I will. Just suddenly, as you said, it was, did you say Kathy Muller? You didn't, did you? She was the third.
I didn't mean to drop you in it, just I couldn't remember.
Sorry, I was busy looking out the window enjoying the Group C cars.
It's an ageist thing. Here comes the red Aston Martin MK, the C83 version. You hear that turbocharged six-cylinder Jag, Silk-Cut Jag. Similar engine to that they found in the 6R4.
And in the XJ220. Roger Wills, who races here a lot, he races a Lancia Martini in Group C.
And a Courage as well. But that's there goes that wailing Peugeot from the Mahe stable, chasing the Mercedes Sauber. They're glorious. Absolutely glorious. Very difficult to run, of course, these days. Electronics are complicated. The sheer size of the car is amazing. But look at the aero on the Peugeot. It is just amazing. It's like a fighter plane. It's nailed to the ground.
It really is.
I mean, in many ways, they became far less attractive, but obviously far more aerodynamically efficient. I'm no great fan of the looks of the Peugeot. I take my hat off big time for its performance, but if I had to have one of those pair, I'd definitely go for the looks of the Sauber Mercedes.
The thing that struck me about the Peugeot, with it's sort of very much a sort of fighter cockpit, etc., is if you had the misfortune to turn one over, and you were perfectly okay, other than the fact you were inverted, how on earth would you get out? And you hardly kick the side windows out.
Well, latter day cars have been racing more the last 2 years. The drivers getting in is a bit like someone posting a letter in a letterbox. It's very, very tricky. And when you've got drivers the sort of the gangliness of Alex Wurz, it's a lot of tall person to put through a very small slot. Anthony Davidson, of course, easy, pop in, there he goes, no problem at all.
Probably climbed in through the window. There's the Tony Southgate designed Toyota, Endegali, it's just gone past.
And obviously with these cars far more stiffly sprung than the cars we saw out the saloon, 50 saloons in the Sopwith Cup, so you can see them bouncing up and down over the undulations, and certainly giving their drivers a much rougher ride than those in the saloons.
This is a wonderful demo.
Well, it is, because with each lap they're going faster and faster, and it is such a great circuit to see these cars really open up a bit. And Max Chilson went out in one yesterday and was deeply impressed, I think we could say.
He was, and it was always great to see a new generation, one of the sort of top generation of drivers now, going back and experiencing something that came 25, 30 years before.
It helps. It's a real framework for them, isn't it? But somewhat different from the T cars in which Max started as a 14-year-old.
That's right. Yes, the only similarity is the roof. One
of the best things about seeing this Group C demonstration, not just reigniting memories of these cars that we all saw racing period at Le Mans, is just also the sound. You forget the particular engine notes that these cars had, all so distinctive. And as they're being driven really very well indeed around here, we're getting to see hear more revs than you might otherwise expect on a demonstration. So I think this has been a real success, allowing the drivers to show their craft without a safety car running at the head of their queue.
I can't wait to see some of the pro photographs. They've got what appeared to be 3 Group C cars abreast going up to Madrid. Of course, the one in the middle was just fractionally back.
If you look on the Goodwood website, there's some terrific in-car video of Jochen Mass hustling the 962 around Spa.
Yes, you forget how physical it was.
Yes.
It was a monster downforce.
And I'm fairly sure we'll see quite a lot of amateur footage being put up on websites and on YouTube as people just use social media to spread the message of just what a cracking meeting it is here, the Goodwood members meeting. And now the sun's shining today, the pictures will be even better.
And the paddock is so open here, it's so friendly. You can go and chat to the mechanics doing their stuff on the cars. And they've got time here to for the fans and a lot of...
Unless they're just nipping off to Wincanton to get on the gearbox.
Well, not quite. And a lot of our spectators who subscribe to these meetings are absolute fanatics for the sport, which is wonderful. So,
and look at these cars. It's hard to believe Justin Law hustling one of these up the Goodwood hill climb at the Festival of Speed.
Yes.
Oh, someone's been through the chicane.
oh yes.
Oh,
one of the Nissans.
Bit of polystyrene spread, but no damage to the car.
They're made of tough stuff, these cars. It does amaze you in those days when you see the car, they have a collision with another car on course, and they come back and they look, they're all deranged, etc. And 15 minutes later, they're back to rebuilt. We've had examples in recent years of cars being wrecked in qualifying. Here we go. Here's how he bailed out of that.
minor impact, but thank goodness there's that cutting for them to go through when they realise all is wrong down the chicane. But one of the glories of the Goodwood members meeting, much like the Revival and the Festival of Speed, is so many people come here, Marcus, with a particular love of a category or an age, and our aim is that they go home with another new favourite.
That's right, and it's with the best of respect, a very, very knowledgeable audience.
Yeah. And how?
That's, I think, sets it aside. The door on the go parts has come open, the passenger door. That sets it aside from other meetings.
Drivers who take part in the festival and the Revival from overseas can't believe how knowledgeable the fans are, queuing up for their autograph with photographs. More photographs than they've got themselves, know more about their career than they do.
But also one thing that blows them away, I was just speaking to someone very knowledgeable who's never been here before. He cannot believe the attention to detail all around the circuit, all around the paddock. It's almost too much to take in the first time.
It's a bit of a difference from the grey airfield that hosted members' meetings back in the 40s and 50s particularly.
Yes, if you go into the Great Hall to get something to eat or something to drink, do have a look at the notices on the walls. It's like Hogwarts. There's a notice saying the marshals and matron must be obeyed at all times.
We never did.
No. But at Goodwood you do.
Yes,
any drivers' report books on the wall from their earlier years at St March's Academy. Well, that was very, very exciting. Super stuff. And for those of you seeing, particularly our younger audience, seeing these cars for the first time perhaps, it really opens up a huge vista on the past. Everything here from pre-war Grand Prix cars through to these Group C cars, which span into the early 90s.
And the Group C cars have their own dedicated paddock area, their pits. They're just coming back into that area now. And later on, the rope will be taken away and people can actually get up close and personal with these wonderful Group C cars.
But obviously, you know, attention to detail is everything. And how about this? We go from the Group C demo straight into the Derek Bell Cup, a man who is just eternally associated with Group C. That's coming shortly, but right now, just one last shot there of the Group C cars. Go back to their very special pit lane in the paddock. They're little pit garages.
Well, even though Derek started his race career here in the early part of the 1960s, he was his career was remarkable for its longevity, wasn't it?
Oh, and how? Yes, I mean, it's only when you look back you realise, good grief, it really went on, and he was just top level right until the moment he stopped racing.
Local lad. His first race here was in what, Marcus, a Lotus 7?
Lotus 7, yeah. Won on his debut in a car, I think, was owned by a guy called John Penfold, who's a mate of his. Also won a couple of Formula 3 races at the members' meetings, Lotus 31 and Lotus 41. And that 41 is apparently here this weekend. I see a Derek Bell crash helmet down among the Group Cs, and let's just review that Group C session with Bruce Jones.
Group C cars ignited the public here at Goodwood because it's a favourite category for so many, the staple at the Moor through the 80s into the early 90s. The last year LC2, such a pretty car in its Martini livery. The ultimate Group C car in so many ways, the Peugeot there just going through the chicane, followed by perhaps the most powerful, the Nissan R90 CK. Aston Martin fans had the AMR1 to look at, the TS010 Toyota, another car as Toyota reached with the other manufacturers the absolute zenith of Group C racing. But for so many people, Jaguars will always be associated with Group C, igniting huge crowds down at the Moor over the years with that success in 1988, right in the mix. Porsche 962, perhaps the iconic shape for so many people. Porsche eternally associated with the Le Mans. But horsepower being used very well indeed here at Goodwood. A great run. These cars going very well, but unfortunately the door slightly ajar there on the Michael Lyons red and yellow Momo livery Gebhardt, incredibly well. Not everyone got it quite right. One of the Nissan R90 CKs, 1100 horsepower at their very most, and through the chicane using the escape, they're just a little clip of the barricades and just checking his headlights still work. One of the Nissans, but they really got up to great speed at Goodwood. A wonderful way to keep warm at Goodwood.
Well, we're back live then. There is Derek Bell, our local hero, winner of Le Mans 5 times, and a winner at members' meetings back here in the 1960s in Formula 3 cars, and in that Lotus 7 we talked about. Next of our races is the Derek Bell Cup race for Formula 3 cars. The 1 litre Screamers